My friends over at Roosevelt's, they make the most incredible shirts. And they have everything from Disney to The Office to Jurassic Park, WWE, and everything pop culture. Nickelodeon, Nicktoons. My son and I fight over the shirts that we get shipped to us. Use promo code SWOGGLE. Save 20% off any order, from button-ups to hoodies to activewear, everything. Guys, go to roosevelts.com. RSVLTS.com. Use promo code SWOGGLE. Save yourself 20% on everything. RSVLTS.com.
That was the issue.
Didn't do
We
the clap,
didn't
man.
get the clap.
There's tech support issues when you don't do the clap, Dylan.
Guys, I'm Dylan. That's George. And this is Going Postl. Thank you once again for checking us out, for listening, for viewing, for downloading, all that business. Thank you very, very much. But before we go any further, we need to talk to you guys about our friends over at the Roosevelt's brand, RSVLTS. George is wearing it right now. RSVLS. Let me try that again. RSVLTS.com. Use promo code SWOGGLE. Save yourself some cash site-wide.
20%, man. Get yourself that 20% break.
Off site-wide.
Listen, last episode, hell of an interview with Renee Paquette. People blowing it up on social media. Renee
Loving
herself retweeting. The Heath showing some love to all the posts that we've been doing. Huge thanks to them, both of them friends of the pod. And we'll tell you at the end of the episode who Dylan's teeing up for the next interview. It's a big one. New interview. No one that he's ever sat down with before. So this is going to be a good one. But before we go any further, got to remind you, follow along on all forms of social media at Going Postl Pod.
A with the circle around it.
A with the circle around it. Also follow Dylan at Dylan Postl, youtube.com/Dylan Postl. We are going to be posting 2 unboxing videos within the next couple of days of you hearing this. I have uploaded them the day of recording. So Dylan's going to flip the switch sometime this week, and you'll have 2 unboxing videos. And of course, twitch.tv/Dylan Postl. Go watch Dylan play some games. Dylan, what have you been playing over there on the Twitch stream?
I've been crazy busy, so I haven't been able to do the Monday Twitches, but still killing it at Call of Duty, trying my best to get these solo wins.
No Fight Forever yet?
I have not. Fight Forever might be my return to Twitch.
Ooh, baby.
Landon has been on my case to download Fight Forever. So
just another game for him to kick your ass in.
I know. That's the thing. It's like, I know I'm not going to get I'm not going to be able to play it, and B, he's just going to beat me consistently at it. So but I'm going to put myself through it. It's I'm hearing awesome things about it, especially for pickup and playability. So
love it.
That'll be we'll be twitching that very, very soon.
Yeah, for those of you who also listen to my other podcast with Johnny Clash, we've talked about it a couple times on the podcast. We're both enjoying our experience with the game so far. There's a couple of annoying things, but it's nothing that's breaking the game. It's just, we wish that the creative suite was a little bit more expansive. But, it's one of those things that's going to grow as the game continues to grow. This is going to be...
It's not 2K20 bugged?
No, my God. No. I think they did everything in their power to avoid it being like that. But
yeah. Everyone is so used to the creative player on 2K now and how, intense that is. This isn't that. This isn't that kind of game. This is
no, and wasn't meant to be that kind of game.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't John Caruso, he flat out told me, do not compare it to that.
Yeah,
Go into this as a completely different game.
Compare it to like if Revenge. Oh, you know what it is? Remember how you could change the attires in Revenge? It's that with a little bit of customizing movesets.
Yep.
Like but they have said time and time again, this is going to be the baseline game for the next couple of years. They're just going to continue to add content and build on the game, and this is the platform that AEW is going to use for the next couple of years. So expect a lot of DLC wrestlers to come beyond what they've already been announced and more creative content down the road. And then, of course, the last two things before we get into this week's topic, you've got swoggleauction.com. Go there, sign up for Whatnot, get yourself a free $10 credit to Whatnot, and the new and improved coming soon, DylanPostl.com. I showed Dylan a sneak peek of the new website just before we were recording. And that's going to be coming soon. And that will be the one-stop shop for all things Swoggle, all the links to the socials, all of his merchandise shop, which if you haven't, go check out DylanPostl.com right now. Check out Dylan's merch. And of course, go and check out the Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/Swoggle. But if you got nothing else to get into before we go, are you ready?
No, we're done. Let's go right into it. Let's get into it.
Go. The topic is the Cruiserweight Championship.
Mad Cat Beard Care, they are the absolute best. They make my beard feel soft, silky, smooth. But not only that, they've been a one-man show since 2019. Mad Cat Beard Care uses a portion of sales to care for local stray cats, cover their medical bills, find safe spaces, and forever homes. Their products are made to order with vitamins and all natural oils that promote strong, healthy hair and moisturize your skin as well. Mad Cat Beard Care has exclusive scents for myself as well as other wrestlers, such as a childhood favorite of mine, Delirious, Ring of Honor legend with his lime and French vanilla scent that makes my beard smell and feel amazing. And of course, make sure to try my exclusive scent, Swoggled, with notes of lavender and sage. And guys, make sure to use promo code SWOGGLED to save 15% on your whole order at madcatbeardcare.com. And remember, the Mad Cat makes a happy beard.
So I you brought this up, and I was like, I thought we did this one, and then I realized no, we haven't covered it.
It's come up. We've talked about it.
Yeah,
it's come up like
not,
it's like this happened, and then the Cruiserweight title, and then after that we did this. But we've never had a full episode.
So that's the crazy thing, man. Like I talk about it all the time about how getting to WWE was never an attainable goal in my mind. It never was like, because I'm not the 6 foot 250 as they always say. But then I got there and I was like, man, a title is so never going to happen ever. And then I think I found out maybe the Friday before the pay-per-view.
Okay.
And then they flew me in for the pay-per-view. I think it was like that last minute that I found out. And I was like, again, all right, I'll believe it when my music hits, kind of thing.
Because there's not like a ton of buildup leading to you.
Zero.
It's not like they've been building this story where Swoggle's going to go for the belt at Great American Bash.
Yeah. It was just like, and that match itself wasn't even like built up. It was just like, hey, here's 6 guys. They're doing the Cruiserweight match. Okay, great.
Do you want me to tell you the whole card? Because I got the entire card right in front of me.
Go ahead. I'm trying to picture now.
Or fun game. Do you want to see how much you remember of it?
None of it. I remember the six. I remember the 6 guys in the match: Shannon Moore, Jamie Noble,
Yep.
Chavo,
Yep.
Jimmy Wang Yang,
Yep.
Unaki. What does the last name start with? Or the last guy's first name?
It's you, Dylan.
Oh, I thought it was 6 for me.
No, it's 5 and you. The last person.
Oh,
is
okay.
You.
Well, that's not bad then.
I was like, wait, how are you not remembering the last person? The last person is you.
I thought it was 6 and me. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Chavo, Jimmy Wang Yang, Shannon Moore, Funaki, Jamie Noble.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, it was like I got told day of, and going into it, Dean Malenko was the producer of the match, and he goes, "Hey, what can you do for a finish?" And I was like, "Well, on the indies, I did a tadpole splash. I did a frog splash off the top." He goes, "I don't know, because that's what Chavo does." And I was like, "Ah, shit. Damn it." I was really bummed out. He goes,
Listen, you weren't breaking out the Swoggle Crusher yet there.
"No." And then he goes, "Could you do like a bulldog off the top?" And I was like, "Sure, but that's really lame." Like, I hated it. But we went over it like 2 or 3 times and it worked. But then so we rehearsed that, and then we rehearsed the me slide, like coming through the ring and diving under while the bell was ringing. And because I think it started the show, right?
So it says you guys are the 3rd match.
Oh, we are. Okay. Then okay. Because I know I was there. I went under before the show that time. I know it was one of those where I went under before the show. So, but then yeah, that's all I needed to really rehearse, obviously, because I didn't do anything in the match. And there was like, I just remember them coming up to me and Dean being his sarcastic self, going, "Well, looks like they got nothing else. You're winning," kind of thing. And I was like, of course, that's what always happens. But that was like the first instance, like looking back, of we have no answers, so it'll just fall on Hornswoggle, which is great.
I mean, so we're going to talk about it later, but the next night after you win, huge pop.
I don't
Your
remember.
music hits, huge pop.
I remember none of that. But I remember I'm under the ring, and right before the match, Dean goes, "Hey, Dylan, can you stand on the headset?" Because I have the headset under the ring. And Dean Malenko goes, "Hey, could you do the frog splash still?" And I said, "I sure can." And he goes, "Okay, good." Because Chavo was not going to, it was like Chavo was not going to do it, or some, whatever it was. He goes, "All right, let's do that then instead." And I was like, so happy. I was so happy. And just like thinking about it now, it's like, if I would have done a stupid bulldog off the top, it would have been like, there's nothing to that. And
it doesn't have the same effect. It's not something that you had already been doing on television.
And also looking forward past that, it would have been so different, like career-wise, what I would have done in matches. Because I always did the splash.
You'd be the bulldog off the top guy.
Yeah, and it's so weird to think about, like that could have been me. But it was just, man, it was great. It was one of those things where I remember winning, and just like, it was one of those where you get to the back and I just stopped, because I remember calling my dad beforehand and telling him to watch the pay-per-view. So he ordered it back home, and then, but it was one of those things where I was like, man, I got to the back, and there's a couple like backstage shots of me just like literally looking at the title, and it was real. Like me I just sat on one of the boxes and just took it all in, because it was very, very surreal. Because
I think the most real, like, I can see that it's Dylan, and not Hornswoggle, is when you win, you slide under the ring, and then you full on sprint to the announcer table and get up on, and you go so fast that the cameraman can't even like catch up with you, and you have to hold up the title twice so they can get the shot. And I was like, that's Dylan. That's not Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
This is Dylan celebrating on a pay-per-view.
So happy, man. It was one of those things where, like, again, it shouldn't have happened, and then when it did, it was like, oh man, it is happening. Oh man, it happened. Oh, this is great. And it was incredible. Like, taking pictures with the Cruiserweight title, something I never would have thought. I would have should have never taken photos with a WWE title, but it happened.
You got it.
And then I remember flying home, and Binder's son Aiden was like a baby, and so I have a photo of the title laying on my godson, like, as a baby, and it was the coolest thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was one of those, like, man, this is pretty awesome. Just like showing it to my dad, a WWE title that his kid won. Just cool. It was just a cool thing. And it was like, in my mind, I was going to be wrestling now. It's going to be wrestling matches and cruiserweight matches every week. And I was so pumped about that. It's not what happened. But as we'll talk about, it's like, it was weekly segments with Jamie Noble, and it was so much fun. Like, so many fun things that we got to do with that. And just like going forward, I don't even remember the first thing we did. If it was a singles with Jamie Noble, or if it was like him laying the traps, or any of that.
I've got things listed out here, but before we go into that, I did want to go back. I did want to list out the card and give the date for Great American Bash in case anyone wants to go back and watch this. So Great American Bash, the one that we were talking about today, takes place July 22nd, 2007. You got on the card, Chuck Palumbo defeats Chris Masters. You've got MVP defeats Matt Hardy. You have the Cruiserweight Open, which is Hornswoggle defeats Chavo Guerrero, Jimmy Wang Yang, Shannon Moore, Funaki, and Jamie Noble. Carlito defeats the Sandman. Candice Michelle defeats Melina. Umaga defeats Jeff Hardy. John Morrison defeats CM Punk. Randy Orton defeats Dusty Rhodes. The Great Khali defeats Batista and Kane. And John Cena defeats Bobby Lashley.
That Carlito Sandman match, I now need to go back and watch.
It's a Singapore Cane on a pole match.
Okay. All right. Yep. That'll be on the watch list this week.
That is the most 2007 sentence I've ever said.
Yeah. Legitimately, I don't know if I would have watched any of the rest of the show, because I would have just been,
how do you go back to just,
you can't.
Like, you can't obey the rules that you're supposed to do and like watch everyone's match and be there when the last match. Like, your first title win, you got to go out and celebrate. Do you remember like what you did to celebrate that, or because you had a show the next night? Was
it Raw? No, we would have went to SmackDown.
Oh,
we would have just drove to SmackDown. Yeah, because we would have had the day off.
Yeah. So going back to the post Great American Bash, the feud with Jamie Noble here. It says, in the following weeks, you shove a pie in his face.
Okay.
You spray him with a fire extinguisher.
Yep.
You shove him into Kane, which makes him get choke slammed.
Yep.
And then you lock him in a trap or a box.
Because he put out Lucky Charms, of course. So there was so many like little fun things that they would tell me each week, like, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's with Jamie, where we get out of a match, or it's not even a match, it's just a backstage thing. Or like, so I pitched for SummerSlam that year, which would have been the next pay-per-view, I think. I pitched the first ever Under the Ring match. And it was on the lineup for 2 weeks as it was going to happen. And it was going to be shot like literally all of these matches now are, these theatrical cinematic matches. It would have been that. Literally would have been that.
Did you have ideas in your head for
nothing,
like how this would play out, or you're just like, this would be a fun idea for the match?
Didn't care. I just wanted an the first ever under the ring match, and I remember going to Vince and going to Michael Hayes.
You could still do that.
100%.
That's a hell of a match.
Yeah, but it was gonna be like it wasn't gonna be shot like as under the ring. It was gonna be like, hey, it's almost like a layer in a cave setting. It was gonna be this real cool thing, and then it just
with like the green glow from how you used to come out of the ring.
It would have been first, but then they were like, they also at that point Vince was against that because he didn't like matches being shown just on the screen and the live audience having to react to the screen. He hated those kinds.
Especially for a pay-per-view.
Yep. He did not like those kind of things. And I mean, obviously look where we're at now, where that happens a few times a year. Randomly and throughout wrestling. But it's it was one of those things where, man, working with Jamie Noble was so much fun. He was one of those guys that never complained about losing or about, egg on his face in the end. It just, and he was so fun. His West Virginia accent just made me laugh. He still does. Talking to him, it's like Heath, where he just says things and it just makes me laugh how he says things. But he's the best. He was so much fun to work with. And then I remember I had one like house show title defense against him, and that was it. That was like the only match I ever did with the title.
Yeah, because the one that takes place directly, the rematch right after the pay-per-view, you win by count out.
Sure.
You beat him to the 10 count.
Oh, okay. And then,
I think what I watched was him chasing you outside the ring.
Yep.
Catching you by the feet, you wiggle out of your shoes and you
up.
Get back in the ring to beat the 10 count.
Yep.
Now, so with all of these questionable endings to matches and how you're sneaking away with the victories and these backstage segments that are happening, I know that you said that there were fun things that were written, but did you have a lot of input, or did you get to suggest anything, or suggest anything at all?
I suggested that under the ring match for the pay-per-view,
and that was it.
That was literally it, because I just wanted to be on TV, and then it was one of those things where I had it, like I had the title, and then we were going right into the Vince's Son stuff, which I don't remember the date of that. I know we just went over it and we just talked about it, but then that happened. And so the Cruiserweight stuff got literally forgotten about and completely thrown to the wayside.
September.
Okay. So 2 months.
It says
2.5 months.
Yeah.
So then, and then it was, I remember Jimmy Wang Yang saying it in a sarcastic but serious way. Like, he was one of those, like, man, you killed our division. And you like you took all hope away once you won that title. And I was like, I'm sorry. They were doing so much with the Cruiserweight division before this. I apologize. Like, it wasn't it wasn't spotlighted whatsoever. And I get that, I get it, because that's the division they were in. That was what they were kind of targeted in and what they could go for. But I didn't care, man. I didn't care at all. It was one of those first times where I was like selfish and okay being selfish, because I won a title and I never should have won a title. I remember a month later, I asked if hey, do I get a replica title? And they go, no, but we'll give you a deal on the website for one. And I went, what?
How'd you get the one behind you?
It's literally that one up there.
It's that one.
It's literally off www.shop.com. But then the cool thing was, So there was a regular Hornswoggle nameplate on the title, on the Cruiserweight title. Once I was Vince's son, though it was like 2 weeks after, I got an updated nameplate that said Hornswoggle McMahon. And that nameplate is on this title, which I'll take a picture of, but that's on there. And so like years later, I mean, this is years and years. One of those times where I'm doing absolutely nothing backstage and the props truck is like just cleaning out the truck and like getting rid of old stuff. And one of the props guys comes up to me and goes, "Hey, got something for you." And he throws something and I go, "Oh." And it's the nameplate, the Hornswoggle McMahon nameplate, which wasn't used very much at all. And it was, man, I don't know if it was ever shown on TV, even with that nameplate. So I
didn't know that it existed until right this moment.
And it's a pretty cool thing to have now on my purchased WWE shop replica title. So it's one of those.
Maybe we got to talk to Wildcat Belts and get you a real authentic one.
Yeah, but it's man, I look back on it and I go, it wasn't. No one would have ever expected it, and it's one of those things talked about like when they brought. So then, I mean, years down the line later, they do the Cruiserweight Invitational with the purple belt, and instantly my name gets brought up, like not in WWE, I'm sure, but to on social media of,
yep,
hey, he was the last champion. And then because then it got, before we go there, backtrack. So we're doing the Vince's son storyline. Starts in September. Well, I still have the title, and now I'm doing nothing with it. Absolutely nothing with it. Because all the focus is on Vince's son. So then they tell me like, "Hey, you're just going to get it taken from you. Vicky Guerrero's just going to take it." And I go, "What?" They go, "Yeah, it's just done." I go, "Like done? They go, "Yeah." I go, "Oh man, I really did kill this division." Like, like, oh my gosh, it's worse than I thought. And then it was just done. Literally,
that was it.
That was it. Didn't travel with it obviously anymore. Nothing. Because I traveled. That was something like, again, I never thought about traveling with a title, having to take it out of your bag every time you go through security and put it in the bin.
What's that experience like?
It's a pain because like every time you go through security, you take it out of the thing, put it in the bin. And if they don't know you from wrestling, now they know you from wrestling and they ask about it. I didn't care, but it's just like the biggest pain about it was I was bringing it on the road with me to house shows, every house show, because it had to go to TV just in case.
Yep.
But I wasn't doing anything with it. But I still was traveling with it.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was a weird thing. It was so, I mean, George, I bet it was for at least 2 months where I did zero with it, maybe longer, where I did zero with it and still traveled with it. In the end, it's a good
you're
problem.
Checking a bag, so it's not like you
never check your title. Jack Swagger checked his title one time when he won the ECW title, and it was, man, you would have thought he kicked a puppy. And it's just like, but I get it. You don't do that because if you lose that or that magically gets stolen, like you always carry your title on. Like I say, it sounds like such a stupid thing to complain about, but having to travel with it and doing nothing with it was like,
well, it's the double-edged sword.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, it was so like not unexpected. So unexpected. That's the word. Jeez, oh Pete. That was an easy one. I would have forgot. Very unexpected. It's been a
while since we got a Cheezo Pete on this pod.
There's a Cheezo Pete. But just I look back and I go, and it's one of those moments where I will say that that's one of the pinch me moments that I actually do look back on and go, hey, you did some pretty crazy things in your career. And I don't, obviously, if you're a listener of the show or you know me at all, you know I don't view anything I do that way. But that's one of those that I do, and I go, oh man, I was the youngest champion in history until they did the Nicholas thing.
Yes.
But I was the youngest, shortest, lightest champion in history.
I think you still
the shortest,
have,
for sure.
Yes, I said I think you still have that to that feather to put in your cap. But it goes back to to go back what you were saying before about it never should have happened and things like that. It goes back to, obviously, again, still not naming names, but it goes back to the phone call that you talked about that you got in the last episode. And the first thing that they said was, "You sure have done a lot."
No, 100%.
This is 100%. A part of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's one of those. It's again, I talked about it earlier. It's one of those things where at signings or at meet and greets or shows that people bring up quite a bit. So I know it was a memory maker in wrestling history, and it's one of those when people bring me a cruiserweight title to sign, it's pretty cool. Like it's pretty awesome.
Is that one of your favorite things to sign?
Figures.
Do you have a favorite thing to sign?
Probably the WLC 2-pack. Because that match is so special to me. Yeah, probably that. That's probably my favorite thing to sign. But cruiserweight titles are right up there, especially when when I see Ray's signature on it and Chavo and all these guys that held that title. It's pretty cool to think about. And then you have the guys go yeah, but Jacqueline also, Miss Jackie held it. I don't care. I held it. I won that. I don't care. It's one of the things I really am most proud of and most happy that happened in my tenure there.
Don't let anyone piss in your Cheerios, Dylan. Enjoy the moments while you got them.
No one eats regular Cheerios.
We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
That's one of the things. One of the sayings, no one just pours a bowl of regular Cheerios. Honey Nut?
Is your opinion that piss would add to Cheerios? Is that
no,
what you're saying?
I'm saying there wouldn't be a bowl of Cheerios to piss in. Because you're not eating a bowl of Cheerios. Honey Nut, sure. The frosted ones, great. You ain't eating a... Man.
I mean, I like a regular Cheerios.
You like what?
Right, I eat regular Cheerios.
You show me when you have a box in your house or a bowl of un-honey nut Cheerios.
Does it matter if I add dried cranberries or anything to it?
That's acceptable. But you're buying regular Cheerios?
I not. It's not like a weekly occurrence, but in the past, over the course of my life, I have bought regular Cheerios. To then put in dried cranberries or something.
You do it for trail mix. That's what you're doing with your Cheerios.
No, you pour milk in it. It's like Raisin Bran, but with Cheerios.
Raisin Bran. Not doing this today. Not.
That's what I said. I said that we're not doing this, and you continue to talk about Cheerios.
No one eats them. No one. Guys.
Raisin Bran?
Guys, at us. The A with the circle around it. At Going Postl Pod. At Dylan Postl. If you eat regular Cheerios, first off, you're lying to us and yourself. Secondly, at us, send us a picture. No one does this. That's like saying when people eat regular Rice Krispies, it's ridiculous to me. Cheerios is for sure, regular Cheerios, I would say, is the least bought cereal on the market. That and Life. You know why you buy Life or Chex? For the mix, to make the mix. That's the only thing keeping those cereals alive. Honey Nut Cheerios is an okay cereal.
Cinnamon Life is really good.
Great. Apple Cinnamon Cheerios, I love them. No one's buying. I don't know what the regular Cheerios box looks like. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't picture the regular
Big yellow
Cheerios
box.
It's what?
Big yellow box. Not there. There's not like a gradient to it. There's
just
no
a straight black
change.
rating.
Big yellow box.
Oh my
Cheerios,
God, George! No one eats. It is for sure. Out of the main cereals, and you're gonna. Well, what about like Multi-Meal or no? The main top cereals. That is.
Did you say
for sure.
Multi-Meal? What is Multi-Meal?
Multi-Meal is some like I think it's like an oatmeal or something. I don't know. You know what? The main cereals that are known throughout the world, I guarantee regular Cheerios is one of the least bought or least eaten for breakfast. For sure. I would say bottom 5 in the world. Same as Rice Krispies. If you eat regular Rice Krispies, that's a for sure reevaluation.
Guys, let me talk to you about our friends over at Manscaped, bringing you the absolute best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped makes precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The Performance Package is the ultimate bundle in men's hygiene. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for our listeners. 20% off and free shipping worldwide when you use promo code SWOGGLE at manscaped.com. That's promo code SWOGGLE at manscaped.com for 20% off your order and free shipping. Wait, if my math is correct, 7 million men carry the two. That's 14 million balls. All right.
I didn't know if we were going to do hot take this week.
I forgot about you. Literally asked me right before we got on there. We do a hot take.
So, hey, Bobby. Hi. It's George. Social clip. That would be great. Thank you. Also, shout out to Bobby Orlando. Leave this part in too.
That's because you told me not to piss in my Cheerios.
I said don't let anybody piss in your Cheerios. Meaning don't let anybody ruin your good time. And then all of a sudden we went on a hot take about it.
You didn't have to bring up a shitty cereal into the mix.
It's the saying, though. It's a real saying.
I know it is, but it's stupid.
All right, well,
it's stupid.
Well, this is gonna be a ranking now.
You should say.
Now, what I would like to know is what are Dylan Postl's top 5 cereals?
Top 5?
Top 5.
Captain Crunch Berries. For sure.
Not even in my top 10.
You don't have taste buds. Raisin Bran Crunch. Love it. There is a Special K vanilla one that I really like.
I feel like Special K is an underrated cereal as a whole. Even the regular plain Special K is better than plain cornflakes.
Stop. No, what another? That might be cornflakes might be under Cheerios for least bought.
Okay, but what I'm saying is regular Cheerios,
you're right.
Regular corn flakes, regular Special K. I think out of those, Special K is the best out of the 3.
Yeah. I would take that. Fruity Pebbles, very little milk. In all cereal, very little milk. I splash milk.
I can't tell you the last time I had Fruity Pebbles.
So good.
And it's not because I don't like them. I just never think to buy Fruity Pebbles.
It's Fruity Pebbles, Little Milk, Special K Vanilla, Raisin Bran Crunch,
Captain Crunch,
berries.
Crunch berries.
Reese's Clusters. They do a Reese's Clusters cereal that I really like.
I'm very surprised that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is not on your top.
No, it's not. It just isn't. And
is it top 10 or just not top 5?
Not even top 10. But again,
what about regular Captain Crunch? What is regular Captain Crunch? Ooh.
Horrible.
Cuts the roof of your mouth, man. What are you going to do?
Awful. Same as Peanut Butter Crunch. Everyone put Reese's Puffs puts Peanut Butter Crunch to shame.
Reese's Puff. Surprised that's on there instead of that. Surprised that's not on there and the cluster is.
Clusters changed my life. Love it. But again, if you eat your cereal with too much milk, with more than a splash of milk, it's a reevaluation for me.
Yeah, okay. Another question. Milk first, cereal first?
If you pour your milk first, you are a psychopath.
I don't think either one of us do it, but there are people in the world that do it.
Yeah, they're psychopaths. They're not.
I never understood it. I think you are setting yourself up for a mess.
Those same people pour their dressing instead of their lettuce first in a bowl. And if they tell me that's just crazy, look what you're doing with cereal.
Maybe they do. Maybe they eat their salads like they do bowls of cereal.
Their pasta. They're putting their ragu. They're putting their milk before their cereal. They better be putting their dressing before their lettuce. They better be putting their ragu before their noodles. All that. Because if you're going to go psychopath, you better go full psychopath.
I think that we have spent more time talking about cereal than your Cruiserweight Championship at this point.
I was just thinking, where's the Cruiserweight episode?
Not anymore. Now this is a cereal episode, and the hot take is about your Cruiserweight Championship win. Well, welcome, or thank you for joining us for this hot take. You did this. Welcome to the Dry Cereal Podcast, hosted by Dylan Postl.
You did this. This is on you.
I did not do this. I literally said, "Why are you doing this? Don't do this. This is not the hot take." And then you kept going. So then I said, "All right, screw it. It's about cereal now." It's about your Cerealweight Championship. That's what this episode's about.
I was about to cough, so I couldn't say it. That was my exact words. Cerealweight Championship.
This is how
There's the title of the episode.
This is how I know that we talk too much. Is there anything else that you would like to say to wrap up this conversation about your Cruiserweight?
So I think I kind of went into it about with the purple title thing. It was always a social media of, when is he gonna come? Is he gonna come back to defend? Or
that would have been great if you were back for the Cruiserweight Classic. That would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been great. I would have loved it, obviously, because it's TV time and that.
Who would you have picked to fight if you could pick?
Brian Kendrick. But then, I knew, and they never show me with the title, which I completely understand. In the legacy of the Cruiserweight title. I completely get that. But it's also one of those, man, it's something that we always say, you can't take it away from me. That's a moment and a part in my career. You can't take it away, which is it's a pretty cool thing, man. And
that's on the internet in many formats, and that's a lot. That's hard to take away.
Yeah, and it's one of those moments that I've said it a million times in this episode. It should never have happened, and for some reason did, which is it's pretty awesome. And now I have a replica title that I paid $200 for, with a sweet nameplate.
We'll figure it out. I'll try to connect some dots behind the scenes.
I love it.
Get you a real replica.
It is out there. Someone does own the actual Cruiserweight title, and I reached out to them. We're going to need a lot more ads. We're going to need a lot more podcast ads before that happens.
I can only imagine how much that costs.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Well, this would have been the part where I threw it to the hot take, but we already did it. It was in the middle of the episode. So this is what I would like you to do now. Tee it up if something changes.
I'm not making promises.
It might not happen, but
I contacted one Tyson Kidd. TJ Wilson reached out and said, hey, I had Hawkins on the show. I had Kofi on the show, and we had a really, really fun time. Would you want to do an interview? And he said, I would absolutely love to. So, with a big asterisk next to it, TBD, a sit down with Tyson Kidd is happening very, very soon. Hopefully for the next episode.
And if not, we'll be back and we'll do like another cereal talk. It'll be fun.
Or another interview. But that's
we'll talk about
he's a dream guest for me because we're buddies. We've always been very, very close buddies. Him dealing with all the health stuff he did towards the end of his in-ring career, and then really kind of talking me off the ledge when I was dealing with my back stuff and health stuff current day is really, really cool. And it's yet another connection that we've had. That's just one connection after the other. He's one of the good ones, as I say. So on the docket, Tyson Kidd interview coming up very, very soon on Small Talk, ongoing Postl. That's this episode. George, plug your stuff.
No, I can't plug my stuff without plugging your stuff. So you got to go and follow @GoingPostlPod on all forms of social media, @DylanPostel on all forms of social media, as well. YouTube.com/DylanPostel, where if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast and you would like to go get the free video version, that is where they live. Twitch.tv/DylanPostel. Go there and just get ready for when Dylan starts playing AEW Fight Forever and then the inevitable ass kicking that he will receive from his son Landon. Yep. That's going to be fun to watch. SwoggleAuction.com. Get yourself a free $10 to whatnot. And of course, we talked about earlier in the episode, the brand new DylanPostel.com. It's going to be the hub for all things Swoggle, and ProWrestlingTees.com/Swoggle. I'm definitely going to make Dylan a yellow t-shirt with his name Swoggle in the Cheerios font.
Oh, you just a basic font?
It, and it's going to be great. No, it's going to be great. Everyone's going to love it. And now this is the part where Dylan goes, George, plug your shit. And then I say,
George, plug your stuff.
Cool. And then I say, in addition to this podcast, we talked about it early on in the episode, I also host a video game podcast. It is myself and former Create a Pro champion Johnny Clash, but Dylan likes to call him
Clarus.
And we are called the Game Marks Podcast, and we break down the good, the bad, and the awesome of wrestling video games each and every week. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/GameMarksPod. And we are on all forms of social media @GameMarksPod. But that's it. Thank you for hanging out with Dylan and I this week. And I'm going to keep this outro very short and very sweet because Dylan is the true star of outros for the podcast. And whenever you're ready, sir, signature sign off.
Hey guys, Magic Candle Company is the best way to bring your favorite vacation scents to your home. The smell of a tropical beach, dark water ride, a cruise ship, or even a water park. The Magic Candle Company is the best way to bring those nostalgic and iconic scents from your favorite vacation spot to your home. Visit MagicCandleCompany.com and use code SWOGGLE to save 15% on your whole order and bring the magic home today.